And welcome to V2C, a veteran's two cents. I am the veteran. In my introductory video, which I can leave a link to in the description, I had mentioned the fact that I didn't want every video to be just about the military. So I thought this video would be something that I still know a lot about, something that I've used in my life, like as long as I can remember, and has done me a lot of good, and that is meditation. So I wanted to touch on a few different topics within this topic. One being what I feel meditation actually is, the things that I feel meditation affects the most, and then the process of getting into a meditative state. First of all, I'd like to touch on what I feel meditation is. Meditation is a way to, I guess, quiet thoughts, not necessarily get rid of them altogether like a lot of people think, but it narrows your spectrum of thoughts so that you're not thinking about so many things all at once, which can, hinder your awareness. Within that, it helps to keep you in the here and now, so you know exactly what is happening. You're not thinking about the past, you're not thinking about the future, you're here and now, so you know and understand and see what is happening. That's what I feel meditation is. The things that meditation affects, like I said, one is your thought process, it affects your moods, it affects your health, general well-being, but mostly it really keeps your awareness. You have what we call awareness, and then on the other hand, we have what we call attention. Now, a lot of people might think that they're the same thing, but maybe I can explain the difference. If you have two types of vision, for example, you have focused vision and you have your what they call peripheral vision. Awareness is a lot like peripheral vision. You're not focused on one thought or one idea or one thing that's in your environment. You're giving your mind a broad view of things. So, for example, if you're walking down the street, you're not thinking, well, that's a street light, that's a car, that's a person, this person's saying that person's saying that. You're focused on just the general environment. Whereas, for example, a focused vision is you're looking at a tree. You're not looking at a forest, you're looking at a tree. Awareness is looking at the forest, if that helps. With that, you get a very generalized idea of what's going on around you. That way, you know about more things rather than one specific thing, which helps you to be ready for things that might come at you. And I hope that makes sense because it took me a little while to understand all that. The other, and like I said, once you train your mind to deal with fewer and fewer and fewer thoughts so that you can focus better and better and better on what's useful, that is going to in turn relieve stress. Things like, for example, post-traumatic stress. Being a soldier, I know a lot about post-traumatic stress. I've had a lot of friends that had really, really bad cases of it, and meditation really helps because it helps you decrease the amount of thoughts about bad things, which helps you to focus on what is good and useful. So relieve stress, like post-traumatic stress, which in turn, everybody knows that stress ruins your health. So in turn, you're also bettering your health in that same respect. Now, with all that explained, one thing I would really like to get across is that I feel meditation is not something you do. You don't do meditation, okay? There is a process to get into a meditative state. So you can't say, well, I'm going to go off and meditate, which a lot of people do. I've said it myself a million times, but just it's better to understand it as you're going to do this process that helps you to get into a meditative state of mind. That way, when you're thinking about it, you're thinking about it in the right way because I guess perception is everything. So you want your mind to know exactly what it's doing. The best way to look at meditation is taking the appropriate time for yourself to be yourself without anyone else or anything else's influence coming upon you. That way it lessens the confusion, strengthens your mind, your spirit, and your body. And when you decrease the amount of thoughts, because you're thinking about only what is useful, your productivity and your creativity will also increase. And it puts your senses in your body, I guess the best way to put it is at a higher frequency, so that you're better able to deal with life and whatever it throws at you. So the process that I would like to put forward is a very gradual way to learn the meditation process, because there's many different kinds. I mean, you can meditate while you're walking down the street. It's called moving meditation. It's just being aware of your surroundings as you're moving. But the meditation I want to go to is actually sitting and doing that process as you're sitting in one place. Just to clarify. So the easiest way to go about this process is to take steps in weeks to 2 weeks to bring your body and your mind together in a very specific place where you can keep that energy. So the first thing you want to do is to really pick a spot. It doesn't necessarily have to be secluded, okay? It has to be a place where your mind and body feel safe and comfortable and relaxed, but not sleepy. So I used to meditate in my bed, and that's good if you can actually stay awake. But a lot of people, they'll try to do this in their bed or try to do it laying down. They end up falling asleep, and that's really not the goal here. So pick a spot, and what I would like you to do is for a 2-week period of time, just come back to that one spot and just sit. You don't have to close off your mind or think thoughts or anything. Just sit there so that you get used to sitting in that spot. And sitting for long periods of time is a lot harder than most people think. Most people have a problem even sitting for 5 minutes. So I feel that we should start there. Once you find the spot that you want to do the process in, then just sit in that spot for about 5 to 10 minutes for a 2-week period of time, so that your body and your mind gets used to that surrounding. You don't have to close your eyes or do anything. You can talk to people. Just sit in that spot. And it gets used to you sitting in that spot. And try to go to that same place at the same time every day. That way, the light, the scenery, or whatever is always going to be the same. Nothing is going to change. And we really want to pick the same spot, because when you start the process and you get into a meditative state, it leaves that peaceful energy in that spot. So when you leave that spot and come back to it, you're just building and building and building that good feeling, that relaxed, safe, environmental feeling, so that it becomes easier and easier and easier every time you do it. And that's our goal here. Muscle memory, it's the same thing. So once you find that spot and you come back to that spot for 2 weeks, what you want to do from that point is you want to sit in that spot and actually make it a quiet area. So sit in that spot, don't talk to anybody, don't do anything. You can still keep your eyes open. You don't have to do anything with your thoughts, but just sit quietly, don't speak, and try to relax your body and your mind as much as possible. Don't do anything with thoughts or anything, just think as you normally would think. I guess closing your eyes at this point would probably be good. You can do that as well. Do that for another 1 to 2 weeks. Notice I'm always 1 to 2 weeks. That way it builds that muscle memory, because that's what's going to make it easier in the long run. After that 4-week period is over, so you've practiced for about a month, you want to do what I would like to call focused sitting. So here's where we're going to do a little breathing with it. The breathing I have grown fond of is what they call the conscious sigh. And you want to do this about 5 times to really get the oxygen going in your bloodstream, and that your blood gets flowing, and your heart, it kind of calms your heart, it calms your mind, it makes you relaxed, it helps you with, especially if you've had a stressful day. So the conscious sigh, what you want to do is inhale till your lungs are almost full, and then take a really deep breath after. So it's like 2 breaths in one long breath, 1 short breath, and then you're going to breathe out for like 3 to 4 seconds. So that's the conscious sigh. What it does is it fills your lungs, and then you have the alveoli sacs that are in your lungs. So that second breath expands those to their maximum potential. So you get the maximum amount of oxygen in your brain. After you do that about 5 times, what you want to do is you keep your eyes closed, you sit calmly, and just watch your thoughts. Don't do anything with them. Don't even think about them. Just watch them go through your brain. I know that sounds weird, but once you really do it, and you'll get the hang of it. It's really hard to explain. What you want to do is you want thoughts to come up, but you don't want to give them any peace of mind at all. Don't think about it. Don't think, well, this is a thought about my dog or whatever. Just let the thought be and let them travel and go through your head, and just pay attention. That's it. Do that for another 1 to 2 weeks. After that, you want to do what we call passive sifting. So it's kind of sifting your thoughts. First, you come to your spot, you do your conscious sighs, your 5 to 10, 10 if you can, 5 if, sometimes it makes you feel a little lightheaded. But then as you're watching your thoughts, what you want to do is you want to try to sift the bad and the good thoughts. So anything that comes to you in a negative way or makes you feel bad in any way, what you want to do is just kind of push it aside. Use your mind and just kind of push it along like a slide. Anything that's good, that comes across in a positive manner and makes you feel happy, give that thought a second or 2. And that's called passive sifting. Do that for 2 to 4 weeks. After the passive thinking, you want to really get into a meditative state. So you want to do your conscious sigh 5 to 10 times. Do the sifting for about, 1 to 2 minutes, or whenever you feel that it's, sufficient for you to have enough positive thoughts. And then what you want to do is you want to stop concentrating or sifting your thoughts and focus on just your breath. Either your breath or, people call it the third eye. You can focus on that as well. When you're focusing on your breath, you want to try to breathe as much through your nose as you can. And you put your thought there of your breath going out and in through your nose. And it gives you a focus point. Okay, so that you're not really thinking about your thoughts anymore. You're concentrating on your breathing, which is internal. So it brings you then into your mind and your body, so that you can relax it and do all the good work that meditation does. So basically, that's my process for getting into a meditative state. Once you go through all these different steps, then once you go back to your spot, you just want to do either your passive sifting or your meditative state, depending on how long you want to sit there. Usually for passive thought sifting or passive sifting, you want to spend at least 10 minutes. If you want to get into a real good meditative state, probably between 15 and 30 minutes is good. Anything beyond that and your body starts aching and it gets a little difficult. But the longer you meditate, the better off you're going to be in the end. So that's my little 2 cents worth on meditation. If you found any of this at all useful, please give it a like. If you haven't already, please help out the channel and subscribe. I appreciate any and all support that I can get. I hope that you leave here with this video a more informed and better person than you were the day before. And have a good evening. Goodbye.